How's it going, Zero Blazer here, back with another Weiss Schwarz video. This one's a bit different, as you can see. It is a vertical app. We're using utools for Weiss Schwarz. It is a deck building app that I use nowadays because it's very convenient. I like it a lot. And because Weiss Schwarz Decks is shut down, and Encore Decks doesn't have some of the less popular series. So I'm using this one. So, recently in my Detonation video, my Nanoha Detonation video, someone asked about pre-detonation and post-detonation deck builds. And about a year ago, someone asked about my Fate build for Reflection. So I thought I would combine those two together and make a video comparing the old Fate deck pre-detonation with post-detonation. And yeah, that's basically the gist of this video. Plus, I really like Nanoha. So that's another reason why. I usually don't do deck tech videos because a lot of people do them already. So I don't feel the need. But I guess people like to have multiple opinions. So there you go. And one warning for people who are coming into this video, maybe who usually watch my Fate Grand Order stuff. I'm not going to be going into newbie specifics about a lot of cards. I'm just going to be a lot of casual terms, a lot of normal terms for Weiss Schwarz players, high level terms, because this is directed for more advanced players, for people who are already familiar with the game. So you're allowed to continue watching. Of course, I can't stop you. I'm not your mom, but it might get a bit confusing for you. Just giving you a fair warning. Alright, so let's get into the Fate Reflection deck, the deck that I used to run before Detonation came out. I built this deck out of memory just to, show you guys. All I normally do is I like to start from level 3 because that's usually the core of your deck, your finisher, your main goal, and then go all the way down to level 0. So, this is Plasma's Amber Breaker Fate. This is a Musashi ability. When your damage gets canceled, middle top card of your deck. If it's burn your opponent based on that card's level +1. You have to run 4 of these. This is your only finisher before Detonation comes out. And yeah, it's your only finisher. That's basically all there is to say. That's all you can do to do finishing damage. It does have a bounce ability. Pay 1, drop a R4 Fate to bounce a cost 1. But it's kind of whatever. You might do it because it also gives a soul. But I don't normally use it. Next up, we have this card. It's a Nanoha Fate from Movie First. It's an on-play salvage. No one really plays this. I like to play it though because sometimes I can't get the Musashi Fate into my hand. So I play this to be able to do that. That's about it. Plus, it's also still a Fate card. So, that's a thing. Next up, we have the Healer, on-play Healer. It gets power if you have memory. I don't run memory in this deck, really, so that's kind of moot. And it's an early play, but it's 5 or less cards in your deck early play, which isn't the best kind of early play, so whatever, again. I run 3 of these. I just run it for healing. That's it. You don't have to run this. The only real important card is this one. The others are kind of whatever. Next up, at level 2, we have this card. This level 2. It's a CX combo with this. And its ability is, with the CX, when this card attacks, discard the CX from, move the CX from Climax Zone to Waiting Room. Then choose 2 cards from Waiting Room, magic or weapon cards from Waiting Room, and put them to your stock. Now, the CX is a stock soul. And then this card gives you 2 stock. So that gives you a total maximum, not maximum. It gives you 3 stock in total. And then after all 3 of your cards attack, you have 6 stock. So that gives you just enough stock to flood your field with 3 level 3s. So this card is important to be able to do that. It's also important for the other ability, which is pay 1, drop 1 to search for the level 3 Musashi Fate. So that also helps you set up. And again, like we established, it's okay. Use up all the resources you need because you're going to get 6 stock in order to play your level 3s. Plus, the search ability gives a 1k, and the CX combo gives a 2k plus 1 soul, so that's pretty nice in its own right. But yeah, the 2k plus 1 soul lasts until the end of opponent's turn. That's also nice. Yeah, this one's 3 copies. I don't know if I mentioned that. That's 3 copies. Next up, we have your standard anti-early play punch. This one, I only run 1 copy. It's just there in case you need it, in case you know your opponent runs a deck that relies heavily on early play. Its cost is pay to drop a blue or magic character, and then obviously drop this card. So your net is pay 3, drop 2. Yeah, that's about it. I just run it for that purpose. Run any kind of anti-early play you want. I just run it because it's a punch, so I don't need color. Okay, so level 1. This is a 4 of. This is the Climax combo, your hand plus Climax combo. It Climax combos with this card. 1k1 shot trigger. Its ability is when it reverses, check up to top 4 cards of your deck, choose a magic or weapon, add to your hand, discard the rest, then give another card 1 level and plus 1500 power. And with this card itself, when you play a Climax, it gets 1500 power. So with the Climax, you're going to have 7000 attack power, which isn't too bad. You can reverse a lot of things with that at level 1. And it'll have a cascade effect, so it'll slowly keep giving power to other cards. So if you ever need to concentrate all of them to 1 card, or you need to keep going down the row and keep giving power, either way works. Can get over some Suiciders, I guess. Doesn't really matter, though. On your opponent's turn, you don't care. This card dies on your opponent's turn. It gives you hand, that's the purpose. Have to run 4 of that. Next up, 1/1 Fate has Clock Encore. That's the main reason I run this card, just in case you don't have the hand to spare for a hand Encore. And on attack, it gets 2k if you have 2 or more magic or weapon characters. That's another reason I run this card. It's just big. It's an 8k by itself. So I guess I run it for a lot of different reasons, but yeah, that's it. It's a 3 of in my deck. It's just there as a beat stick that can't die if you don't want it to. Nanoha punch, basic 2k punch, 2 of. Just a 2k punch, that's all I run it for. I don't know what I'm going to punch with it, but it's just standard. So this is the main focus of the deck. This is what brings the deck together, in my opinion. This is a Presea from Nanoha A's. Its ability is when it's on the field, all your Fate cards cannot be targeted. So that makes it so your burns will definitely go through. Your opponent can't do anti-damage, rest punch, anti-early play if you ever do early play. None of that will work because of this card. They have to go through this card first, which is a waste of resources for them. So a plus for you. I run 3 of. Also, it gives 1000 power on your turn, so that's also nice. I run 3 of because I'm very paranoid that I won't have it by level 3, because I normally always play this at level 3 out of fear that my opponent will have some way to counter it. So yeah, this card is very important for the Fate deck because of the anti-targeting. So that's the level 1s, and then we're going to go to the level 0s. This is it's a salvage Ricky. It pay 1, clock yourself when it goes to waiting room, and then salvage a level 1 or lower. You can salvage itself. You can salvage your level 1, assuming it went to waiting room. Just there for the hand plus. It also has a mill effect. That doesn't matter too much. I don't care about that much. This one was a 3 of. This is global 500 of Fate, and then global 500 on your turn. I don't run 2 of, because it's a support. I'm already running other supports. It's just there for power. That's about it. The Brainstorm you run for this deck is this Nanoha one. It's a rest self Brainstorm, salvage, add to hand. On a play, you can check up top 2. It's kind of whatever. The main reason for it is just to check if you have climaxes, then you know if you want to Brainstorm or not. I run 3 of this one. Always need to have Brainstorms in the deck. It's very important nowadays. That's why they're all double R now. This card is one of the best cards in the deck. It used to be like 200 yen. about 100, 200 yen, but now it's like 500 yen because people finally realize it's a good card. Its ability is it cannot side attack, but when it reverses something, you could choose another magic or weapon card and put it in the back row, and then rest it. So you normally combine it with, like, say, any supports that you have. You just attack with a support, then you use this card to move it back to the back row, safe and sound. I run 4 of this one because I just think it's so good. And it's a 3K normally. And how often do you need to side? Almost never. So in my opinion, it's very solid. Then finally, I think this is finally, no, 2 more. Okay, so next we have this card, pay 1, send this card to memory when it's on the field. Check out the top 4 cards of your deck, grab a magic or a clone card, and then add it to your hand, and discard the rest. It's literally only there in case you really, really need to dig. It's there. I run 2 of. It's if I have less than 4 cards left in deck and I know there's a climax in them, then I use this card, get the climax in my waiting room, reshuffle the deck. No climaxes in my clock. In my other zones. Yeah, that's the only purpose. But it's still nice for that purpose. And then this is finally, yeah. So this is the final card I run the deck. Very important card. It's when this card gets reversed, pay 1, drop 1, send this card to memory. Search for a clone, which is basically all your fate cards. This helps you set up for your level 1, your level 3, whatever. It's a very powerful setup card for Nanoha. You could also run pay 1, drop 1, search. I prefer this one just because it's also fate. It also goes to the memory, so it thins out your deck a bit. But yeah, you could run a searcher. There's nothing wrong with it in this build, at least. So that's a 3 of. So that's the deck. In general, all this deck does is you try and build up hand for the entire game, and then when you get to level 2, you do the CX combo to build up your stock and try and build towards getting 3 Musashis in your hand. And just flood Musashi and play one of these, hopefully, so you have enough. Hopefully you have enough stock to do that. And now you have 3 Musashis who cannot be targeted. They burn if your opponent cancels, and your opponent can't do anything about it unless they have like global -1 soul. That's the only thing that'll counter it. Alright, so that was before Detonation. After Detonation, things change. Not too much changes, I think, but enough changes to matter. Alright, so let's dive into it. So, for Detonation, most important change, you now have a solid finisher CX combo. It's CX combos with this card. It's a shot trigger. Both of the climaxes are a shot trigger for reasons that are revealed in this climax. So, its ability is if you have 2 cards in memory, doesn't matter what they are, you could pay 1, drop 1 when you attack to mill the top 9 cards of your deck, and you burn your opponent based on how many shot triggers you hit. Then you reshuffle those cards back into your deck, and this card gets 2k power. The power honestly doesn't matter. You just do it because it's a shot trigger. Or sorry, because it's a burn. You just do it because it's burn. You're doing damage. Also, it's an on-play healer, which is very nice. This is your main focus of this deck, this finisher. Next up, you have this Nanoha. It's only there because you do have to have memory, so it gets 3k power. So it's 11k on the field. But the most important thing is it's a digger. So you can look up to X amount of cards. X equals to basically how many magic and weapon are on the field. And this deck can't dig. So you have to run this card in order to get the climax in your hand if you don't have it in your hand. I run 2 of. You can run 3 if you don't feel confident. Oh yeah, this card was 4. I think I failed to mention that, but yeah. Next up, you have the old Musashi Fate. Already talked about it. Won't go into deep. This card is a 3 of. I still run it just in case I can't get enough of this one in my hand. It's just another alternative. You can also run the new one. Doesn't matter. Name doesn't matter anymore. They reprinted this card as a promo. If you want, you can run that one. Okay, so you're level 1. This card is exactly the same. You still run 4 because it's, again, is a shot trigger. And you have to run 8 shot triggers in this deck. This is a new edition. This is a global 500 to all magic and weapon. And when you trigger a shot trigger, you can pay 1 to draw a card. It's a way to pay out your shot triggers when you trigger them. That's about it. Very useful. Always nice to have it on the field because how often you may trigger them. I run 3 of. Next up, I still run this. I run 3 of still. This is there. Still run punches. Still run this thing. Still 3 of. Same reasons. That's basically the only difference. Next up, level 0. I swapped out the Nanoha Nanoha Brainstorm for this one. It is a gift center slot in front row, 500 power. And it's a rest 2 Brainstorm. Rest 2 pay 1. Mill top 6. And for every shot, or not every, for if you hit a shot trigger, you can salvage Nanoha or Fate card. And this deck is just all Nanoha and Fate cards. It's debatable if you would rather run this or the Nanoha. The Nanoha is for every climax. This one is for just if you hit a climax, but it can mill more, which is the main reason why I'm running it, just because it has more mill power. But Nanoha one just has to rest itself. This one is rest 2 other, or any 2, sorry. So it just depends on your playstyle for this one. I run 3 of them for this. This is a new replacement for the old Ricky. This one is when it gets reversed, send it to memory, pay 1, clock yourself, and you can grab a magic or weapon from your waiting room and put it in your hand. Its other ability is a bond. Bond doesn't matter. You don't run this for the bond. You could run this, or rather, you have to run this over the old one because it is a memory. It goes to memory, and you need 2 memory for your level 3. I run 3 of because it's very important to get memory. Yeah, that's about it. Just because it's memory and it's hand plus. This is Nanoha. When it gets reversed, middle top 3 of your deck. Up to top 3, sorry. And then you can grab one, add it to your hand, and then drop a card. Oh, the card added has to be Nanoha or Fate. That's important. It's just a way to mill through your deck. Again, a way to filter. I run 3 of. Very nice. I like it. Of course, you still run 4 of this. But now there's a new combo you can do. You can run this, let it die, let it get reversed, and then use the ability. Then use this one to revive it so you can do it again next turn. Interesting combos. Still run this for the exact same reason. But now, it's important to have memory. So this is another option if I don't have enough memory. And still run this because, again, this runs into memory. Before, I said you can run one of the blue searchers instead of this one because memory didn't matter too much. But now, memory is very important, so you have to run this one. And that's the deck. So, important part of this deck. At level 0, you're trying to get as much memory as you can. And you're trying to set up for level 1. At level 1, you're just trying to get hand. That's basically all your level 1's doing. But you're also trying to save enough stock so you can play level 3. Because now you don't have the level 2 anymore in order to build up your hand. Build up your stock. Then level 3, you're trying to flood with this Fate and burn them 3 times. But through multiple games, I found that to be very difficult. At most, I can only get about 2 in my hand. Ideally, you want 3. But I have some trouble with that. So that's also why this is here, just in case you can't. Yeah. And that's about the deck. I also run into some stock problems with this deck. I usually only have 5 stock, which is enough for 2 of this one and 1 of this, because I usually don't play this until I hit level 3, and I actually need to burn. But all in all, the deck is very, very solid. I do enjoy it. At least I have a finisher now to look forward to. Go back to the general view. You run 8 shots. It's not that big of an issue because the deck revolves around shots. You have a way to pay out shots. But yeah, that's the deck. That's how I built it. Let me know what differences you would do to this deck, assuming you play with Nanoha, or just if you play Weiss in general and you have any knowledge about Weiss that you would impart on me. But this is my take on it. I like it. This is the final build. I can't really think of any way to change this. I might change out the level ones, but probably not. But thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a like, especially with this one, because I don't know how this is gonna, I don't know how people will think about this one, and this kind of format of just me doing it all in one take, and talking, kind of rambling, I guess. Let me know if this interests you, and maybe I might do more based on like the other Nanoha decks, maybe some other series, if people really enjoy this. And yeah, also in the comments, let me know about, I don't know, just anything else you might want to see. If you do like this kind of video, what other decks you might want. It doesn't have to be a comparison, it can also just be a deck in general, like a deck tech in general. If you guys really want deck techs, I can do those in this kind of format. But anyways, thank you for watching again, thank you for watching. This has been Zero Blazer signing out.